Eclipses, they bring out fated, destined shifts in our reality. And normally we are always going to feel a little bit unnerved or anxious about them. But please do not feel that way about our September eclipses. And we're talking today in particular about the Pisces eclipse at 15 degrees that's going to happen on the 7th of September. Why? Because Lord Jupiter, fairy godfather, is blessing it. Lord Jupiter is in a flowing, harmonious relationship to this eclipse. And we haven't seen that kind of eclipse in the sign of Pisces since 1894-95. So this is indeed first in a lifetime, as my headliner will probably say. I really want to encourage us all, even when the eclipses aren't so benefically loved up, where Jupiter's just flowing full on from his super exaltation, super strength. I want you to think anyways of eclipses like fated events occur in our lives, but they bring us to the place we need to be. So often we don't feel like we have control, like there's no steering wheel in our life, but those changes are necessary. And if you look at the life from the perspective of it's happening for me, not to me, or maybe ultimately the universe has a grand design or it's a friendly place, these kinds of understandings of reality help us move into those eclipses in a way that's compliant or collaborative, or at least without digging our heels in and resisting the change. So we're going to talk about this eclipse. I love it in so many ways. It's on a beautiful Sabian symbol called a flow of inspiration. It also connects to another positive part of the story, which is that Jupiter in his exaltation in the sign of Cancer is in the home domicile of the moon, the temple of the moon herself. And so that this is a lunar eclipse. So he's really working it in favor of the moon as he's exalted in Cancer. And she's in Pisces, which is his home kingdom, his seaside mansion. We call that a mutual reception. And that kind of reception means that these two planets are really teaming up, trying to bring something that each of them agrees with. It's just like if I was house sitting your house and you were sitting my house, we're house sitting for each other and we swap homes. Well, of course, we're going to be very worried about being a really good guest in each other's homes and collaborating to make things work. And that's how Jupiter's dealing with being in the temple of the moon, and the moon's dealing with being in the temple of Jupiter as they are in a mutual reception. And this is very positive. So I'm ready to go into your sign and talk about this. I don't want to do world astrology on this particular video, but I will say one thing. But in the fall, September of 1984, 1890, did I say the September of 1894 to September of 1895 was the last time that we saw this eclipse cycle happen with Jupiter exalted in Cancer. And why it matters for the United States of America is it has its sun in the sign of Cancer. And some interesting things happened in that cycle that I just think are very, maybe going to, rinse and repeat this time around. Number one, the United States created Labor Day. The Labor Day holiday that we're going to be celebrating every single September. And it had to do with honoring the labor markets after a big thing called the Pullman strike. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but keep that in mind. Jupiter represents justice and legislation, and there was major legislation in that last window that the federal government has oversight and rulership over interstate commerce, which allowed the government under President Cleveland at the time to actually send military troops, military action into one of the states to disrupt the Pullman strike and get everybody back and running. I can't remember what industry Pullman was about. Another interesting thing that may occur again or may not, the Federal Reserve not the Federal Reserve, the gold stashes, like I don't know if they call it the Federal Reserve, but the United States Reserve of Gold. Its stash of gold was in trouble, and there was some kind of financial crisis. And the Rothschilds and JP Morgan, the Morgans and the Rothschild families came together and bailed the federal government out and helped save the gold supply. Okay, so I really want you to the tune of X millions or billions of dollars. So there may be in the United States a replay of some kind of, financial crisis and some kind of government solution or private solution or bailout solution of some kind. And finally, so saving the gold reserves in the 1894-95 window. And finally, the United States built a battleship, like a Navy vessel that was the first ever. It was called the Indiana. naval battleship built by the United States that was at the standard of, like, say, the Royal fleets of England. So there was a major military up level. Think about, the sign of Pisces being the seas, right? And that Jupiter's in the sign of Cancer, also about water and defense of homeland. So those are some stories that happened in that year, back in fall of 1894 to fall of 1895. So we may see similar things occur for the government and the country of the United States in some way. They may repeat. Let's go ahead now and talk about your sign. First thing I want to say is I feel that this is going to bring, for most of us, a chance to really tap in and tune in to our highest essence. And I really don't mean that lightly. It's just because we're living in such interesting times. And Jupiter is the guru, the dispeller of darkness. He holds knowledge and wisdom. And when we use that energy at the highest level, he's not just like, let me multiply your fish, you know what I mean? Because he can do that. He's kind of like the guy that expands every single thing, multiplies it, brings prosperity, wealth, children, and all of that. He's got he rules education as well as justice. But it's more that he's exalted in Cancer, the sign of the mother, the sign of the feminine, but it's also in the world axis chart, like the original chart of the world, which was not an Aries rising in the ancient traditions of the Mesopotamian astrologers. It was literally a chart that was a Cancer rising. So the chart of the world is a Cancer rising. Isn't that interesting? It's a mother archetype. And so, and maybe in some ways, we're all going to be able to take that Jupiter at the highest level possible, crossing my fingers, beyond defense of home and homeland, for example, and move it into what is it like to find the deepest essence of who we really are and to own that piece of our story, because as well, Pisces is the mystic, the poet of the zodiac, but Pisces also represents, as a natural 12th house placement, a sign that's associated with spiritual liberation or moksha. So I'm going to say that if you use this at the highest level, this could be quite a beautiful energy. There is something called the degree. Every degree in the zodiac is associated with a sign. Nikolai Stevanovich discovered or created this degree-based degree theory, it's called. And if I do remember, it's a Gemini. Okay, so it's the Gemini. So 15 degrees of Pisces is the Gemini degree. And there's only one thing I'd say about the Gemini degree, besides Jekyll and Hyde, on and off, all of that. But it is also ruled by Mercury, the messenger. And therefore, what kind of messages internally, divine insights, can we receive on this eclipse on September 7th? But also, what kind of messages can the world receive from the Uranus Gemini energy, besides AI and Chat GPT? I think we might be able to see this 6 months it unfold, the lunar eclipse, as connections to non-human intelligences, maybe more whistleblowing, maybe more disclosures about AIPs, UFOs, and whether there is indeed some contact with non-human, non-terrestrial intelligence by various governments, including the United States. So we'll see what happens. That's a prediction. Every time we see a lunar eclipse, it goes on for it starts to be felt about a month before. So I'm recording on August 30th. I'm feeling it already. It can unfold over 6 months. Okay. So keep in mind that I don't want you to think about it being on the day of the eclipse. Lori said this would happen and it didn't happen. Okay. Don't go that literal. It's going to be a fated, expansive North Node energy. North Node says expand into, grow into something that you desire, worldly success, riches, fame can come off of North Node energies. It's the plus sign, okay? And what is the South Node in Virgo? And the eclipse is associated with that. And we'll be having one September 21st. That's the negative, the minus sign. So whenever you see the North Node, I want you to think increasing the volume or plus. And when you see the South Node, you're going to turn the volume down or you're going to minus something. Can you see how that simple that concept is? So we often live our life not wanting to let go of something. And so a South Node eclipse makes us do it. It kind of says time to surrender and release, excrete and let go. Whereas the North Node eclipse is always going to be what we want to expand, what we want to turn the volume up on. And whether we want to do it or not, the volume gets turned up there. For instance, I have an Aquarius rising, and this kind of a North Node eclipse expands my prosperity, my resources, my financial wellness every single time this happens. And how often does it happen? Every 18 and a half years for 18 and a half months on average. Now, every 18 and a half years, this cycle keeps happening again. So I'm going to show you a chart so you can see and compare other times in your life this has happened. We're going to do that now. Then I'm going to open up the sky, and then we're going to talk about your sign. Today, I'm accompanying my astrological knowledge with a draw of a card from the Inner Child cards. And why Inner Child? Well, I don't know. Jupiter in the sign of the mother. I guess it made me feel inner childish. Inner Child cards. Yay, fairy tale, myths, and nature. So we'll get each of us a quick and dirty draw to go with the astrological guidance. If you're new here and you haven't ever liked my videos, please do. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, share with your friends and family, comment. I do respond to my comments, not all of them, but I read most of them. I try to. One more thing, if you're new here as well, did I say who I am? Lori Lothian, Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses, and all of that good jazz. This is not sidereal Vedic astrology. But the other thing I want to talk about is Sky Reader. I'm mostly a teacher. I love to teach. And if you want to join me in my every year, this is a 6-year teaching Sky Reader to read your natal sky, to Sky Read. Sky Reader, subtitle, Time Your Best Life, Be Your Own Astrologer. That 6 weeks live class gives you enough astrological language learning, right? Just a little basics of the astrology language to read your chart, and I'll give you some more simple or easy to use timing tools and some more advanced ones, but at least I'll give you the simple ones to be able to move through life with a navigational tool, to move in the direction of the flow, to avoid this, the storms, to walk towards the sunny weather, to move to the, avoid the quicksand and move towards the meadow of flowers in the fields. You know what I mean? Looking at astrology as a way to go into the flow of your life as opposed to moving against it and creating more hardship. So that's why astrology can be useful. Come join me. In the description box is all the information you need to subscribe. There is a discount code SKY20 for 20% off until midnight on September the 7th. So please grab that SKY20 code. It's all in the description box under my video. I also teach all kinds of classes. And if you want to join me at the end of the month, I've got something on the Mars cycles, information on that. 90-minute class is also in the description box below. All right, guys. So I'm not kidding you. I am excited. I am so happy to go into this eclipse cycle. I'm actually extremely optimistic, which is not my normal temperament. I tend to be kind of a bit of a catastrophic. What is that word? Catastrophic. I can never say that word. When you want to make everything catastrophic, or you want to look at like the darker sides of things, or whatever, catastrophe. I cannot speak the word today. Let's not try. But anyway, I'm happy to say that I'm excited for this eclipse. The Sabian symbol, the flow of inspiration, is so powerful. Some key words for that Sabian symbol from the book I like to use by Diana E. Roche: creativity, spiritual power, simulation, encouragement, imagination, inventiveness, ingenuity, originality, talent, brilliance, cleverness, vision, insight, foresight, prescience, revelation, and prophecy. I don't know where wouldn't you like this stuff, right? Wow. Accent is on inventiveness. You might be struck by a novel idea that helps you solve a problem or inspires you to try something new. So yeah. And I wore yellow today because it feels to me, it's one of my favorite colors for sunshine, optimism, vitality, innocence. So we're trying to go vibing with this feeling that this eclipse is giving me. All right. And, one thing that the Sabian symbol warns against is falling victim to the delusion that thinking is the same as doing. So put your ideas to work in the practical and everyday world. Okay. Because you could get very fantastical for sure in Pisces, no matter what, where we're in our imagination. We need to use our imagination as our God-given talent. It allows us to make things in our image, so to speak, but we also need to take action on it. We can't just visualize all day long. So there is a little bit of a quality of don't forget to do something with this energy, to let it just go into like fantasy or daydreaming. One more thing I want to say before we head into our all signs, I want to show you actually the cycle we're talking about, because it is a rinse, repeat, and rinse, repeat story. And if you want to take a screenshot of what I'm about to show you, what I think is useful about this, it helps you go back in time and really, and also lean into the future. So I'll show it to you now and be able to use this kind of content to work with eclipse cycles or any kind of cycle and use it proactively. I'm not sure if I can get it as big as I want, but I hope you guys are able to see that. So basically, if you want to go into this particular cycle, right, just right now, you're going to notice that, well, the North Node moved into the sign of Pisces in January 11th of 2025 and leaves July of 2026. That's that 18-month cycle. That you'll see that the eclipses going through Virgo and Pisces axes began here with this March 13th eclipse at 24 Virgo. And that was on the midheaven of Benjamin Netanyahu, which is why I'm pretty sure he's going to be toast. South Node will take him out of power, and that eclipse is still playing out. And he's getting hit again, like double tapped, if you know what I mean, guys, on the eclipse of September 21st at 29 Virgo, because both of those eclipses hit his midheaven. So it's not good for his hold on power or health at that as well. Now, the other thing I want to notice that the 15 degrees Pisces eclipse on September 7th, 2025 is not the first eclipse we've had in Pisces. We had one on September 18th last year. However, it was a very weak eclipse by comparison because the nodes of fate were still in the Aries Libra corridor, making it diluted. Okay. This is a pure energy now, and we're experiencing it right here at 15 Pisces. And then you'll notice that we continue to have Virgo and Pisces eclipses, March of 26, August of 26, and a final tail end Virgo eclipse. That would be a lunar eclipse in February of 2027. So we're still like playing with these energies all the way till the spring of 2027. So therefore, I want to also show you can take a screenshot of this if you like. I also want to just speak to you about comparing notes. Okay. The last time we had eclipses moving through the sky in the Virgo and Pisces axis goes back to 2026 fall to 2008 spring. And the time before the 2006 fall to spring of 2008 is the fall of 1987 to the spring of 1989. So in a way, you can compare your life fall of 87 to spring of 89, or fall of 2006 to fall of 2008. I mean, spring of 2008, and go, what's happening that's similar? But what's happening that's not at all similar and is completely different is Jupiter. Jupiter is flowing to the North Node eclipse in an extremely powerful mutual reception with the moon. And I don't know where to go other than back to 1894 to 95. And none of us were here. So it's first in a lifetime, sort of a fated blessings. I'm able to call the video first in a lifetime fated blessings eclipse in Pisces, something like that. Now, let's go ahead and say one more thing. The exact degree of the eclipse at 15 degrees, right? That exact degree is going to bring us something very, very special from Lord Mercury, if we believe, say, the degree theory by Stavanovich or Nikolai. I can never remember his exact name. So I'm going to draw a little Mercury story into the mix when we go through the chart to see what he's up to in our sky. I'll be showing it to you so that we can also not just talk about Lord Jupiter, but Mercury. And the third thing I'm going to talk about for your sign astrologically is Lord Saturn. Oh, dear, dear me. On September 1st, Saturn has slipped back to 29 degrees anaretic of Pisces. I've already done a video on the September overview. Hope it's not a tsunami, but definitely cyclones or hurricanes or flooding or big water events where Saturn's sitting in the sky for sure. The North Node eclipse can be amplitude, volume up, plus sign. Okay. Full moon eclipse also is revelatory. It shows us what we didn't know, didn't see, but it also brings fulfillment and completion energy. So let's get into it. Let me show you the chart and we'll get rolling through the eclipse story. One sign at a time. If you like this kind of all signs astrology, and if you also appreciate the oracle draws that I've been adding, please hit the like button and subscribe. Never forget that the smallest gesture of your finger is algorithmically helpful for my channel and helps me to grow. I recently did a video with Jeff Mara of the Jeff Mara podcast, and he's going to put that out sometime in mid-September. I will let you guys know so you can get a chance to watch that. We talked a lot of interesting things, including predictions for the world. Here we have the sky. It's just set for Scorpio, just randomly. I just want to show you what it looks like. I'm going to take those minor asteroids out. So let me do that for another completely different video I did for another reason. So let me just remove them so we're not staring at minor asteroids. Sorry, guys. Anything I want to leave minor asteroids wise in here? I might stick with Ceto, ocean goddess who personified the dangers of the sea, okay, including sea creatures and sea monsters. So I'm going to leave her in there, but I'm going to take other people out. If you don't mind, I will just do a cleanup act and we'll get them out of the way. We'll leave Ceto and we'll take out the Sphinx. That's another video. Will I take it out? Well, just know that, no, I'll keep it in because this eclipse is sextiling the Sphinx. So I'm also going to say, I'm going to take it out, but watch for things going on connected to the good old possibility, not probability, that we're going to get some kind of more revelations about the origins of humanity, the Giza Plateau, maybe some of that study they're doing about what's under the Sphinx with the satellite radar kind of technology. Okay. I'm just going to keep Ceto in there. All right, here we go. All right. If you want more world astrology, go watch my September overview video. It would have come out on Sunday before you see this video. The reason is I do give some more world astrology predictions. And I did do one that I had to take down. YouTube was blocking it from monetization because it was too overtly saying what some things I'm concerned about in September. So on my Patreon community, my Substack, I could speak freely, but not here. So if you want to know more about that, please join my Substack or my Patreon community where I posted the sort of banned video. So here we have just a general sky. We're going to start with Aries. I probably should start with Pisces just to break new ground. You know what I mean? So let's do that. We're going to move Pisces into the sky as the main topic. Let's put you in there, Pisces. We'll do that because it is all about you. Pisces, we'll start with you. You're first and always first, best and always best. What do you think, Pisces? There is an eclipse. It is going to be happening in your sign. You can go back to 1987 to 89 or 2006 to 2008, fall to spring of those years, and you can try to compare, but you can't really compare. First in a lifetime, we have Lord Jupiter witnessing the eclipse and giving some positive feedback and really expanding the possibilities on the nodal axis. And here he is witnessing this particular story. The moon will be at 15 degrees. It's just because I advanced the chart. So just trust me on that. And there's something about this moon where I would bring your attention to 2 or 3 things. Number one, don't forget, there was an eclipse in your sign back September 18th. You might have experienced something going on where you are reaching for that worldly success, expanding your identity. If you're listening today, by the way, for your sun sign, it is often about your career and your moon about your home life, or sun about your dad and moon about your mom. But the career, but the rising sign particularly is anything about you in the simulation. So it's your character avatar in the matrix. So this regard, you're seeing something about yourself beyond what you normally see. It's a plus sign. It's a volume up. There's a larger you that you're becoming aware of, especially with a lunar eclipse. The moon is blood red and it's evocative and it's showing you something under the eerie red light about you. Okay? Pisces moon about your career and purpose, Pisces sun about your home and your home life, but Pisces and your feeling states, but Pisces, certainly for Pisces rising, something about the character that you think you are is being opened up and excavated for deep and profound, expansive revelation. You're bigger and better and more powerful than you think. Partly here with Lord Saturn in the witnessing position next door here, like in the same sign, there's a seriousness to this. There's a quality that you are going to take this whole thing seriously. And you didn't have that same archetypal energy here, 87 to 89, 2006 to 2008. So this is a whole different ballgame. You've been learning to work with Saturn to become more resilient, persistent, dedicated. You might have been also dealing with anxiety, fear, loneliness, anxiousness, depression even. Since 2023 on and off, maybe some despairing moments, because that's how long Saturn's been working through your sign. But he's kind of done with you, right? He's back in February to your second house to shore up your money. So this is your last chance to work with him for 30 years. And he's watching this eclipse. I'd say Saturn says, for goodness sakes, Pisces, get your sage-like qualities up and running, grow a backbone, be serious about what you want. What does worldly success mean to you? North Node can bring that. How do you want to step into it? And for goodness sakes, take away some of the attention to everyone else around you, your partner, your marriage partner, the clients and audience and marketplace. Yeah, they're important. But right now, that's not where your attention should really be. With this being at the Gemini degree, Mercury in the marriage house can indicate perhaps that some of your marriage story gets sucked into this eclipse, and that you might see things about yourself in relationship to your significant other or significant relationships you've been in the past as well. Lord Saturn is the Lord of past things as well, karma and time. And the South Node, you might be really reflecting on former relationships, marriages, long-term committed love stories, and the one you have, if you have one. And because Mercury, ruler of the Gemini degree, is with the house of the spouse could reveal something to you as well. There may be some conversation that's of critical importance in the relationship you have to that other person coming through this eclipse energy. Jupiter expands your prosperity in terms of winning money. This is the house of good fortune, the fifth house. Or you could also have some lucky breaks in terms of prosperity connected to fourth house activities, what you do in and from the home. So with Uranus there, start using technology, ChatGPT, start getting online, use the World Wide Web, and prosperity from the things you do in the home can be a major story that unfolds 6 months after this eclipse. Also, the gains of the fourth, which is the fifth house, could be because you're going to sell a property, and that could be extremely profitable for you and very fortunate. This can be a very strong fertility story. And so if you are a fertility and childbearing age, or your partner is, this could be a birthing energy, a destined, fated birthing of a child or even a grandchild in your storyline, if that's something that could be possible for you. And Jupiter is in the house of what your natural talents and gifts are that you were born to express in a meaningful and purposeful way. And I think that that means that this can also open you up to a greater ability to access those talents and gifts and use them, but also maybe to start your own entrepreneurial self-directed business, which Jupiter would love for you to do in the fifth house. And you might see how you could prosper in that area over the next 6 months. If the eclipse reveals to you, that's what you should do. Now, Pisces, I'm going to be drawing a card for you shortly, but the last thing I say is that other than romantic love partners, children belong to your fifth house, and there may be something very fortunate happening for one of your children, because Jupiter brings the good stuff to us, right? Fairy godfather. And so this eclipse could stimulate as the moon says to Jupiter, help my kids. And Jupiter says, I got it. I got it. And Jupiter says, take care of the health of my Pisces person. And the moon says, I'll help them do that. I'll give them emotionally satisfying ways to nurture their body and their self. And if it's your Pisces moon, your emotions, emotional self-nurturance. Now, I'm going to draw a card. Whoa. for you, and this video could take me a long time at the rate I'm going, I'm going to draw a card for you. Are you ready? Here we go. This is your message. It's the Eight of Wands. Well, if you know the tarot, that's fast-moving, passionate energy. And I love that for the fifth house, of course. This is a deck that is not the tarot per se. It's about the inner child connected to the tarot archetype. So let's just give a couple keywords from the book for you on the Eight of Wands. And don't forget, eclipses are not the day of, they unfold over time. And I should say that it should be easier for me to find the section than it is I'm having trouble. Swords. Oh, here we go. Wands. Okay, here we go, guys. Here we have the Eight of Wands. Okay, so basically, because I'm not going to read the whole thing, we'll be here all day. I'll give you the highlights. Alrighty. Join these fairies as they light their wands in the blazing fire. It may be time for you, Pisces, to reunite with a group, family, or consciousness. Well, your kids are in the story, right? A consciousness, group, or family that moves you beyond your self-interest and personal power. The way you use power now has significant consequences for the world. Fire can destroy or fire can heal. Wands are fire. Become a light bearer who honors truth and feels compassion for all who share the world. And just knowing that the wands are about the spiritual, and that is your superpower, Pisces. You're the natural one for that. There's a lot of fast motion. Things are happening quickly. It's exciting when you get that Eight of Wands. All right. And all eights is a number of money, prosperity, purpose, and power. So hold on to those thoughts. Enjoy the eclipse ride. You're probably feeling it already, but it's really coming down the pipeline and lasts for 6 months after September the 7th. Let's go ahead and do the next sign. So the next sign is always after Pisces, the indomitable Aries, powerhouse of pioneering and independence. I have a sun and moon there, so I like you guys, I relate. So here we have you guys, Aries, sun, moon, and rising. And on September 7th, we're going to see that eclipse coming through the sky. Just so you know, it could be September 8th, time zone dependent, but it's a story, right? September 7th and 8th, here comes that eclipse, and it's going to happen at your 12th house. Now, 12th house energy can be very subtle for some people. It's really about your inner life, what you do in your solitude, isolation, and aloneness. It's spiritual liberation or moksha, moving out of the limits of your identification to the character in the matrix. And also it can bring you prosperity and wealth through international companies, foreign land enterprise, working with foreign people, making money from foreign sources. Well, in modern digital revenue and in the World Wide Web, we often do that easily today. It's not like we get on a boat, travel across the sea, and do some barter and trade. So you're going to see that that's where your worldly success is expanding, should you be engaged in that kind of revenue. This is a house of hospitals as well as jails, because it simply represents places of isolation. There's an increase in your alone time, your need to be alone, your desire for solitude, which can be beautiful, is going to increase. And now you may have felt a bit of that in September 18th when there was one eclipse in here as well. You might have had a sense of that, but it wasn't as powerful as this eclipse. And now this is a real pull to use your creative alone time. And from that, worldly success may emerge, or destined shifts in your spiritual awareness. Having Lord Saturn here, watching this eclipse is important. Don't forget, this is very different than 1987 to 89, and very different than the fall of 2006 to spring of 2008 cycle. It's very different because of a lot of stuff, Saturn and Jupiter included. So let's continue to remind you of that. This is like Saturn, who has been working with your 12th house energies ever since. Backtrack. March of 23. And that could have brought you some of the things I talked about as a focus point, because already Saturn is the outsider, the isolated one, the hermit, and the cave dwelling monk. And so there's already some part of you that has already leaned since 2023 into the value of pulling away from always being social, for example, spending your alone time productively, creatively, or even for prosperity. So that Saturn transit is back, and it'll be back in your sign through till next spring, until February 14th. And so here you are, you're like, okay, my last work with Saturn for 30 years. I got to figure out what he wants. And now he watches this eclipse and he's like, I'm here for it, guys. And what he wants to do, hypothetically, is give you a level of authority and mastery in whatever you've been trying to achieve here. And the eclipse says destined change, destined maybe worldly success coming off this part of your sky. Another way of seeing this, okay, another way of seeing this is that there may be somebody that is from your family of origin that, or, well, I'll go with family of origin, that could be looking at transferring family wealth to you already. And so if there's something coming off the eclipse in the next 6 months, it could actually be spousal money or family of origin money in this kind of sky that is coming to you. But if it comes to you, it's because it was due to you. It's like a retrograde Saturn says, we've been waiting for this. You know, it's coming down the pipeline finally at last, you know, and here it is for you. But this would be from someone elder. This would not be from somebody youthful. This would be an elder family member, transference of financial wealth. Also, one thing about Jupiter in the 4th house, looking at this eclipse in the 12th, is he could propel you to look for a new home in a distant shore, foreign land, or far off place. It can be a far off shore from where you live within your own country or state, but it can also be international. And so therefore, Jupiter brings prosperity and abundance from the 4th house to say home. Your home can expand. It can be larger. It can be more prosperous, but it may connect to 12th house storylines, right? Or inheritances, as I was suggesting. Jupiter in the 4th house is known to bring children into the family unit, into the home. And with Venus here in the 5th house for you, it could mean that you or your partner will conceive a child within the month before and 6 months after this eclipse and begin to start a family or increase the family you already have. And lastly, I love Jupiter in the 4th house because everything he does here is benefic. And he usually just expands what he touches in destined fated ways with the North and South node. So it can be so many ways that he wants to participate, but the moon says, do something good for my Aries person, right? You're in my house. And so Jupiter's like, okay, something good, something good. Do you want to travel around the world? Do you want to make commerce internationally from the home? Do you feel like changing your home to a better, bigger home, but is it connected to a far off distant place or shore? Or can I lump some money your way from your family of origin? Or in this chart, perhaps from a spouse. Now, I don't mean like because your spouse is going to die, right? So I want you to take a deep breath. Okay. But there's a possibility something going on in the life of your spouse could increase your wealth as well. Maybe they'll come into some money, right? That kind of thing. Okay, so hopefully that is useful. Let's take a card draw from this deck that I have here, the Inner Child deck, and let's see what we get. Now I'm getting at the end of the daylight here. At some point, it will be right in my eyeballs in my window. So hang in there with me. I might have to change where I'm sitting, guys. Oh, this is a beautiful card to get in the context of what I just talked about. Happy family, the 4 of Wands, under the wedding bough, usually in a regular deck, mom and dad, the wedding, the 2 kids, etc. Okay, beautiful card. All 4s are about foundation and stability. So you need to think of it that way. I will look at how they write it up because your home is a foundation and stability, but it is an extremely blessed card. So in that regard, congratulations. Of course, with Lord Jupiter, what we call angular in a Kendra house or Kentron, it opens up an incredible, beautiful energy for the wheel of fortune or destiny turning on your behalf in very beautiful ways. 6 of Wands. Here we go. Ready? Oh, 4 of Wands. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing. In your life, new ideas are seeding themselves. Prepare your life for the fruits that you will bear, plant your creativity, and watch it grow. They also talk about this being the seed, metaphor of a seed that's applicable to the seed of knowledge, the seed of truth, and the germination of consciousness. Well, knowledge, truth, and consciousness are moksha 12th house and 4th house. So that makes sense as well. So let's move forward to the next story. The next sign we're going to talk about is Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. I might need to get up and have some chocolate, but I'm going to keep plowing forward. As long as I keep going, I keep going. Here we have Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. Well, guys, you know, I mentioned every sign. Fall of 87 to spring of 89. Fall of 2006 to spring of 2008. This is a comparable eclipse cycle. However, we did not have support from Jupiter or Saturn, so this is completely different. And in a lot of ways here, I would say that you are going to be looking at one of the most blessed eclipse cycles of your entire life, if I do say so myself. So here we have a very powerful North Node eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces in the house of good spirit. This is one of the positive houses of the zodiac. It brings us profitability in our career. It brings us favors from friends in high places, like allies and benefactors. It brings us good relationship, in this case, with the elder sibling above you, just by one. And it also activates the energy here of your long-range goals, wishes, dreams, and plans for your life. And so we have this North Node expanding that worldly success in the profitability of the 10th, right? The gains of the 10th. So your career profits or success from the work and career path can increase and worldly success can come. Yes, there was an eclipse here, September 18th last fall, but it wasn't really, it was diluted, diluted eclipse, right? This is a total blood moon eclipse. This is not a small deal. And this is going to fully illuminate the eerie red light of discovery. What is it you're going to discover about a longer goal and dream? It's not just enough to chase the paper with the money, because Lord Jupiter, truth, knowledge, wisdom, and dispeller of darkness flows to this storyline. So you are also sourcing a lot of this knowledge and wisdom from Jupiter about what you aspire to create and achieve in your life, so that while you profit in your work, purpose, and career, you also feel a deep spiritual alignment with what you're up to. There is a wholesale Jupiterian vibe in the 3rd house right now, right till next July. And I think Jupiter would ask you to consider, possibly consider, that you have something here to expand or grow in relationship to your local neighborhood. And with Mars in your 6th house at the time of the eclipse, it could be a change of neighborhood and a change of home, because your IC might be pretty connected to that 3rd house. But even if not, just categorically, Tauruses are going to move. Okay. Potentially you could move and change your home vis-a-vis a property rental property opportunity to rent a new home. Not likely a purchase in this chart. Well, it could be. I'm not going to say that. Purchase or rental, change of home. The other thing I'm noticing here is that you're also wanting to look at your social networks, and you're looking at them now, this change of social groups of belonging, through a Saturnian lens. Saturn's back here, you know. Go watch my Saturn, and I did put a video up Monday before this video, and go watch about the Saturn story. But Saturn is saying be serious and realistic and wise about who your friendship circles are and who you choose to engage with in friendship circles. Because when I see Neptune moving back in October, you're going to almost be like, I want to hang out with sober-minded people, literally and metaphorically. You know what I mean? Sober people and sober-minded people, wise people, and maybe older people. Quite often a Saturn transit through the 11th house will bring us into associations of groups of belonging, chosen tribe, and friendship circles with people older than we are, significantly 6 to 7 years older minimum. If you're a writer, marketer, seller, skills-based teacher, or you want to study a new skill, Jupiter works with the moon and brings new career profitability to you because of it. So if you want to go to school, you're going to go get a college education, and you can use it, not astrophysics or ancient history in an Ivy League, university. I want to learn how to sell real estate. I want to learn how to, take photographs, and I want to learn how, because you want to work with that new knowledge. And a lot of you may acquire some new learning as a result of this eclipse. And the eclipse will be very revealing to you of what it is you wish to study or learn. You don't have to go off to a a building. You can do online learning with Jupiter. So a lot of you are propelled to do some new online study. Jupiter represents a teacher in the house of skills-based learning. If you are a teacher, then your prosperity from the teaching is going to succeed and you're going to be very successful. Now, with Mercury, kind of, the Gemini degree where the eclipse is happening, with Mercury in the mix here, Mercury might be saying something across the way of, information or news coming to you from one of your children that's going to tie into this eclipse, information coming to you about fertility and pregnancy, with Jupiter sextiling the pregnancy house. You or your children could become pregnant. And there may be an element of that here, but with the moon, she loves babies and mothering and stuff, and Jupiter's trying to please her. Mercury might go along with it. Mercury might say, I've got some news. There's a baby on the way or a grandchild on the way or something like that. If so, it's all very fated and very destined, and you won't know the full lay of the land for up to 6 months after. So don't worry about the timing. It doesn't have to be happening on the day of the eclipse. That would be like not happening. That's not likely to be true. Okay. So let's get a card for you. Are you ready, Teddy? Alice in Wonderland. You got a major arcana. Alice in Wonderland. All right. So this is the Wheel of Fortune. It's the 10th card. Now, without even reading the book, oh, goodness gracious, 5-alarm blaze just for you. The Wheel of Fortune. Do you hear that? I've got my mic on maximum noise reduction. I'm going to get a degree for being so zen as I live through a location wedged between a hospital and a fire station. Seriously. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It describes the archetype. I'll read the end. When this card appears in your reading, see your life from a higher perspective. Explore the realm of dreams, yes, because what you dream into being is your 11th house. And keep a notebook of your out-of-body journeys. Good fortune may be just around the corner. Anticipate a turning of the wheel of fortune in your favor. Be the eternal optimist. Know that the power of prosperity, consciousness, is your ace in the hole. Take advantage of golden opportunities that are coming your way. Good luck is on your side. Let it ride. Let it ride. Okay. I don't think there's any one of you that's going to complain about that. So don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, especially after I delivered that great news to you. It's the least you guys can do. I feel like I need a glass of wine already. Okay. Let's move on. I just feel like a glass of wine. I have a little bubbly. All right. Gemini, sun, moon, rising sign. Don't forget, I keep trying to remind people, sun, career, moon, home and home life, sun, father, moon, mother. Rising sign, everything about you in the simulation. Now, look, Geminis, I can relate. My progressed sun is there. No, progressions are not as important as your natal chart placements, but it is an expanding plus sign of worldly success in your career since a node entered here in January, but now it's being pushed forward with an eclipse with the moon up here. The moon in the 10th house means popularity with the masses and the people. A blood moon eclipse is eerie red. It may reveal to you ways that's true or the ways you can make that happen. It might mean a wholesale revelation about your career path and purpose. It could also open up doors of shift toward matters connected to a change of job, a change of career path. Now, with the moon here at the top of the sky, joined with, or, talking with Saturn, Saturn has been working with you since 2023 to give you mastery and authority and apex predator success in your 10th house through freaking hard work. Why people call me the hardest working astrologer on YouTube. But the energy here is about sage-like, sagacity is apparently made the word sagacity out. I like the word sagacity. Is it sagacity? Sagacity is nicer. I would say that your wisdom quotient is very high now. And Saturn is there saying, well, we're going to be realistic and we're going to be sober-minded and we're going to be sage-like as we amplify this storyline of career success or career expansion or career prosperity, all possible here. At the same time, this is not like fall of 87 to 89, or it's a little bit like it, or fall of 2006 to spring of 2008. Those are the last eclipse cycles through the Pisces and Virgo axis. But it's not really the same because Lord Jupiter, first in a lifetime, not seen since, 1894, 95, Jupiter is flowing to the North Node. Like, holy moly, holy man, from the money, resources, earnings, and possessions second house. How you take into your hands your money, it's your wallet, it's your savings account, it's your earning source energy. This is expanding, growing. Jupiter blesses it till next July. He's planting golden eggs here too. It doesn't mean that everything shows up now. The gains of Jupiter's expansion will also be even more evident next July out a year. So there's a lot to be said here about Jupiter working with this eclipse. And the Jupiter trine to the eclipse is lucky. So lucky money and lucky career expansion, growth, and prosperity germinating off an eclipse with a beautiful Sabian symbol, right? Go back and watch the intro about the Sabian symbol, which has to do with inspiration. And I love Jupiter's way he wants to present to the moon and say, I've got this, I've got this, I've got your back, because the moon is the owner of the money temple of the second house. And she's asking for him to behave well. And he's like, I got it. I'm going to multiply the fish here. And she's like, that's great. And I'll multiply the career success. So two of them are working in a mutual reception. A woman could come into your world to be a very powerful support structure in a business partnership for a career with Juno in the Artha 6th house as well. Now, Mercury, ostensibly, this is a Gemini degree Pisces storyline. Mercury across the way could be saying something like, down here, is there something I'm writing, communicating, marketing, or selling in and from the home, connected to things that bring me pleasure and enjoyment? That would be something that really would be also in alignment with this eclipse and could bring some great success as well. Well, I'm going to have to do something here, so give me 5 seconds. I'm going to say 2. Would that be a move here? Could be. Hang on. Yeah, there could be a contractual rental property opportunity within 6 months after this eclipse that allows you to prosper and thrive, or your prosperity and thrival gives you the opportunity. Okay, give me a second. Yes, I've got a plan, Stan, of some sort. It is getting too sunny and I do not want to melt my software on my laptop. I'm going to try to, that's not going to work. Let me try pulling down the blind. All right. All right, guys, I cannot find it. Here it is, the blind puller downer. It's automatic, The downside of an automatic blind system is that you have to find the controller. Oh, and then you have to get the controller to work. So when my son was really little, bless his soul, he wrote a fiction piece called The Controller of the World, and it was about a remote controller. How they could control the parents. You got to love it. I'm stopping the share because I'm really giving you the whole point. All right. And no, that's dark. And what I'm going to do is pull a card for us. Okay. So I'm us because I have a regressed Gemini sun. So it impacts my career in a positive manner. This isn't going to work. So I'll put that over there. All right, here we go. Ready? The card I got for you guys. OMG, like OMG. Can you see what I just drew? The Magician. And they call it Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Okay, so the Magician card is using earth, fire, water, and air, all the elements, and channeling them on your magical table and letting the divine move through you. And, honestly, I don't know if I should even read the book because it's just so simple but powerful. Mercury is a magician. He's in your angular 4th house, but Jupiter is like Santa Claus, fairy godfather. And, the moon is helping you too, right? With emotional satiation or security or happiness in how your money story and career story works in the next 6 months. It does get a little bit of this Magician up for us. Sorry, it should not be this long. The Magician, according to this particular book, magic. I believe in magic, right? Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Make a wish, guys. Fairy godfathers in your money house. That's Jupiter. So basically, when this card appears in your reading, realize that you create your own reality from every thought, word, and action. I just was reading Napoleon Hill's book on Not Think and Grow Rich, the other one he wrote after it, The Path to Success, I think. Mindset matters. Rather than thinking analytically, explore your creative genius. Recognize the power of affirmations and the need to protect yourself from negative thoughts in the psychic atmosphere. Remember that naming objects and people is a magical art. All names are composed of letters, and each letter carries a numerical and spiritual vibration. The abracadabras and open sesames of childhood stories kindle the magic of using words as mantrams of power or phrases of enchantment. Well, one of my favorite phrases of enchantment is "I will to will thy will," because I really think that's the one magical secret that matters the most. To understand that we're successful when we're aligning with the will of our own soul. So, not trying to tread an uphill battle in life. Keep in mind that once the genie is out of our bottle, some danger of misusing power is always present. However, the danger can be transformed into great adventure of consciousness and mental expansion. Let the light of innocence and imagination rekindle your passion for learning. This is the magician, and its ruler is Mercury. And I am twisting my hair. That's because I stim, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. It's because I'm craving wine. So if I'm craving wine, I might be hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And I know some of you know what that means too, right? Some of you familiar with the recovery mantras. Okay, let's move into the next sign. Don't forget, if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. And hopefully some of you will come join me in Sky Reader. So check the description box below. Discount code for 20% off does end at midnight on the 7th. I will then maybe put a 10% code up, but I'm rewarding early bird activists. All right. Hey there, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Nothing to complain about here. This is incredible. Jupiter's in your sign. You're feeling completely loved by the sky. So you've got like kind of Santa Claus, fairy godfather, protection for health, optimism, faith, and hope, goodness, expansion. This could get you pregnant or chubby. Take your pick. It depends on your age, but it's a good vibe. And Jupiter will be witnessing this eclipse. And this is an eclipse in your 9th house. But before I say that, you have to go back to 87 to 89 and 2006 to 2008 to compare, with the recognition that this is a first in a lifetime Jupiter blessing. So those eclipses are completely different in the sense they're not as positive. There's changes that are fated and destined in the following themes: higher education, academics, universities, foreign lands and foreign shores, international travel, passports, courts and judges and legal cases, matters to do with book publishing, and matters to do with one's purpose, meaning, and dharma. Also, sometimes therapists, guides, mentors, and teachers, okay, are also in the mix. And so that's what I've got. And I'm going to then go into a little bit of a deeper dive. I'm just also going to stop the share. Give me a minute. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to cut my video off and then I had to restart you. So here we go. So you're just so darn lucky. You're so fabulously amazing here. But I want you to think about this 9th house just for a bit. There is something about the 9th house that literally invites you to look at God. Yes, it is called the house of God. Temples of worship, spiritual traditions, faith, religion, your spiritual ideology. You can't go through life without some sense of purpose and meaning. That's another thing that's up there. And you're expanding in all ways up there. Things are going well. Are you a writer, author? Then things are going very well, because Mercury in the house of writing in your 3rd house is with the sun and is reflecting some positive things back to this lunation, this full moon eclipse. It's total, but this is really good for those of you who want to learn, study, go off to school or university, write or publish, and this could bring some worldly success. A lot of people, because Rahu means foreigner or foreign people or foreign place, may find themselves traveling quite significantly to far off foreign shores and lands. You might not want to stay housebound or homebound in the 6 months that follows this eclipse. Moon means home as a general principle, and your home might be in a far off place or a foreign land. You may be traveling, or you may be changing your home. You might be moving to another country. especially with Mars baked into your 4th house. It could mean travel away from home or changing of the home. Now, one thing I really want to mention here is that you do possibly have in this chart with the energy of Lord Saturn, something to do with a spiritual elder showing up. If you've always wanted a teacher, a guru, right? But you be careful here. It's not that kind of thing you're going to join a cult, not with Jupiter in your sign. But Saturn would be like the Senex, the wise man, the wise woman in a spiritual guiding context. And so for some people, this kind of chart can bring in a spiritual mentor, a spiritual guide, at the very least, a counselor, a therapist, a coach into your life that's destined and fated. But that Saturn will say somebody of some recognition, spiritual authority, or merit, somebody who's got a lot of creds here. If you want to publish a book, go for a traditional publisher with Saturn in this part of the sky. Now, one thing about having Juno in the 5th house, you might be partnering as well in creative or entrepreneurial endeavors with other people in your life in the 6 months that follows this storyline. So shall we grab a card? I have a card for every one of you. You know, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Oh my God, the 3 of Wands. It's like you're waiting for your ship to come in on the horizon line, but it is a travel energy, right? There's a sea and the guy's on the shore and he's looking out, and all said and done, I think that does mean that a lot of you Cancers are either moving your home or traveling. And both of those are possible, not just one. Don't forget, you know, this won't compare to like the past. It's a little like 87 to 89 and 2006 to 2008, but it's a whole lot better, a whole lot better. So what card did I just draw? Yes, the 3 of Wands. The 3 fairies in this card are the muse of the triple goddess. One was the goddess of memory, one was the goddess of prose, and the other was rhyme and riddle. These muses are what this card is about in this deck. Now, basically, it says that this is a great card to open to the joy of artistic expression and find the muse in your own heart. The keynote is the potentiality of joy and the joy of your life. Well, yes, because as I pointed out, Juno was in your 5th house flowing to the story. That does point to something like that. There's no doubt about it. Like there's an element of where's the joy, where's the innocent, where's the play, as well as, is it fun to play in travel? Is it fun to play in publications? Is it fun to play in going off to college or university? Some of these things are very fortunate. Certainly you're very lucky if you have to win in a legal encounter. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's roll with this storyline. First in a lifetime, yay you. This is a gorgeous energy for you to see that the North Node eclipse, total eclipse, is happening in the 8th house of chunky money. If you are needing financial uplift, you could come into some money that doesn't, you're not earning it, okay? It's not your job. It could come from an inheritance, yes, spousal support, divorce, sure, but also your spouse's money can increase. Money from your in-laws can happen here. There's an increase here, and it's a plus sign for worldly success, and it can increase your financial wealth. You could even have a stock investment taking off. And the blood moon eclipse can give you clarity in an eerie way to reveal what you haven't seen about the way that chunky money is important to you. As well, occult mysteries, therapeutics like deep psychology, archetypal psychology, tarot, numerology, all the super woo-woo is of the 8th house. Some deep mysteries are there. And some of you might be experiencing that, like a real deep activation of success in that area, or deeper plus signs of exploration in the wake of this eclipse and before. Don't forget, it's up to 6 months after. Saturn is the elder in the house of death. I'm not going to pretend that's not there. Somebody old could pass away from this eclipse. The moon might suggest that somebody connected, perhaps, to a distant shore, far off land and place, but likely an elder, or it may have been involved in a hospital setting. Jupiter with Hygeia health in a hospital setting connected to this story, right? Can't promise that an elder family member, you know, could be a grandparent, could be getting ready to pass some family money your way, right? That's a possibility for you. Now, having this contractual agreement, kind of vow or whatever down at the bottom of the sky, some of you are making some deep agreements around a change of neighborhood and a change of home in the easy, blessed ways with a financial prosperity supporting that, you know. I would say this be more like a neighborhood change rather than a change to another country, but there could be a shift to where you live and a possibility of even some prosperity from the commercial sale of a home. And with Mercury being a part of the story across the way, look for news or information connected to money coming through and possessions. What kind of possessions? A home, a car, and some chunky money. Someone wants to buy your home or car and they're going to give you a ton of money. You want to sell your home and you're going to get a great offer. You want to move your home and you're going to find a place that's much more affordable to live. Saturn rules rentals here. Maybe it's a rental property. Maybe you're going to get a chance to rent a property out and become a landlord. These themes could really roll through the sky. All said and done, with Venus in your sign at the time of this eclipse, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You're feeling like, I'm on my A game. The universe is supporting me to be beautiful, to be attractive and likable by most people right now. So your charm offensive, guys, is on the top of your A game. You're moving. Six of Swords is often extensive travel or relocation. And I saw some relocation for some of you. This isn't a lunar eclipse. It can take up to 6 months to follow the full thread of it, what could happen. I think some of you are going to relocate. The swords are mental cards. The Six of Swords is in this deck, all right? You've reached a pinnacle. Foresight and inspiration have embraced your mind, and it is as if warm sunlight is evaporating the waters of negative thinking and fear. Salute, sit up straight, close your eyes, and let the light of the solar fire become an elixir of wisdom. A golden aura of divine protection surrounds you. Now is the time to serve humanity with clear vision. I also just think you're moving. Moving on to the next sign. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. The energy here is intense because you are receiving an eclipse in the marriage house. This is also not necessarily your story. It could be about your partner. They're expanding in their worldly success. They're experiencing lasting gains from increasing their success in life, Saturn. Now, there is something here that could also impact you, right? You may have some stories going on about how you relate to your marketplace, your audience, your clients, your spouse. And your mind might be very active right now as you're thinking about it, Mercury. One of the things about this energy is that it's also unlike your life, love, relationship, client, marketplace, placement, unlike 87 to 89 or 2006 to 2008. This cycle, which kind of winds down by 2028, has Jupiter's blessings. And Jupiter's blessings are coming from the 11th house of profitability from your career. And in some way, this could be also profitability to a greater success level in the partner's career. They're having some expansion, growth, prosperity, and worldly success. Or you are through clients, audience, and marketplace increase. And both can be true. People in high places, friends and allies and benefactors can be very lucky for you, offering you contracts and agreements legally that support greater prosperity and success in your career in the 6 months that follows this eclipse. Finally, I kind of want to mention that Mercury is in your sign and is, kind of ruling the Gemini degree where the eclipse is happening. I think there's a way in which you are able to express, communicate, or ideate something to a partner in business or love, so that your own career profitability increases. And this is also very good for an unexpected and surprising temporary like raise or promotion, which is fine, but it's got a deeper, longer vibe than just that. And with the moon as a categorical representation of home, right? There could be something going on where there's an expansion or increase in home because of things that your partner is going through or activating. And Jupiter is the ruler of your 4th house of home. So sometimes that could lead to, not because of something you're doing, but your long-term love partner is doing, or because you're going to meet a new person and go into a romantic life story in the next 6 months, there may be a change in your home. And it will be very lucky and blessed by Jupiter's position in the 11th house of good spirit, which is a very lucky house. Finally, windfalls, pennies from heaven, Jupiter in your 11th. But it could likely look like the windfalls are either coming from extreme prosperity in your career through new contracts and terms of service, new job agreements, or because your partner is just leveling up to the highest expression of success in their career. All righty, let's get a card for you right now and see what we have here. This is going to come straight away. I might have to finish this video tomorrow. My daughter's heading over for dinner with her man, and they're early. And I want to get this done because I have, my home hair and makeup done, guys. Seeker of Wands, Seeker of Wands. That would be like, I think, the Page of Wands in this deck, or the Knight of Wands. Seeker of Wands. I'm sorry, that's not auto-focusing properly. Anyway, Seeker of Wands. Let's grab that. A lot of wands I've noticed, and that makes sense because Jupiter would be very much about the wands. Seeker of Wands, 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 Seeker of Wands. Give me 5 seconds. Seeker of Wands. No, it is like the Knight of Wands. Oh, the Knight of Wands is a very fast moving. Okay, they call this Dorothy in the deck. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Says that here. When Dorothy appears in your reading, follow your destiny and proceed on your life quest. Develop your confidence and spiritual strength. You may be exploring and perceiving unusual realities at this time. Keep a dream notebook or journal of your nocturnal experiences. This can be a time for a journey to the physical world as well, open to the entire range of possible destinations. Take action to make your visions true. Eliminate the fear. Well, your vision's true. Is Jupiter expanding your goals, dreams, hopes for your life? Eliminate the fear of getting lost and making mistakes. Your helpers and guides, Virgo, will direct you to home when your magical adventure is about to end. So it kind of opens up a lot for you. But I think the magical part of that is the Jupiter in the house of good spirit. So I think that's going to offer you an incredible opportunity for career prosperity. But the 7th house eclipse could be like an expansion of your career through your partner success, or through how you intersect the client audience marketplace, or sign a contractual agreement for a new position. Mm-hmm. That's what I got for you. Let's move into the next sign. Hey, Libra, sun, moon, and rising. These are eclipses happening, abracadabra style, in the house of rentals, work, health, debts, pets. Certainly, North Node can expand your pets, and you might get more than one, or just, expand into the destiny of getting a new pet. And that could be showing up for you over the next 6 months after the September 7th eclipse. You can try to compare notes to 87 to 89 or 2006 to 2008. We ain't going to be the same, because this time Lord Jupiter is activating a pleasurably happy, wonderful, magical, lucky thing. And it's about your career. But this being the house, Artha house, and this too, this is very much an expansion of your worldly success, luck, prosperity, plus sign growth in the work environment and in the career space and reputation. This could increase your staff if you're an employer. This could increase your prosperity and luck and success within the work and office space with those with whom you work. If you wanted to see this as well as something to do with rental property opportunities, and Lord Saturn rules the house of health, within 6 months from this eclipse, there's a very good chance of you being able to rent your property out as a landlord, or to secure an amazing, lucky, fortunate rental property, but also connected to your career. So maybe because you're so successful in your career, or maybe because your career itself requires a residential move. Those are things that for some of you may occur in the 6 months that follows. I do want to say that having Lord Saturn here is a very interesting story. You've probably been working really hard since 2023 to grind into your career work success, and hopefully your health is okay. It might have given you some problems with your bony structures or your teeth now and then, right? But Saturn, or some karmic temporary health challenges. But Saturn here is wise, and Saturn is going for the long game. And so any changes you make that are prosperous, lucky, and fortunate in the career space relative to the workspace will give you a new direction that's likely to set in for a few years. Very long tail, long game strategy. I kind of want to also say health challenges, of course, can happen. Watch for your feet. North Node can reveal that your feet are screwed up. You got to pay attention, or your lymphatic system, which is Pisces. So you could be given the chance to have positive, lucky results through recognizing the problem and fixing the problem in this lunar eclipse. It's blood red and shining an eerie light here. Okay, and I'm going to just let my daughter in. So hang on. Can't make this stuff up. Okay, daughter's all tucked into the bedroom with her boyfriend, and let's just finish you guys up. Sorry about that. This is real life. This is my real life. I'm not going to edit this. All right. So, and then Libra, I wanted to say, where was I on that? Because I'm going to draw a card for you. I don't think I have already. You definitely have this energy going on for you with, the Juno, the contractual goddess, and the earnings and resources, that it looks like you're going to get a really great job opportunity in the next 6 months after this. It doesn't have to be a new company or a new place, but with Juno there, it's often like either a business partnership, an entrepreneur business partnership that's possible here, or even that you're just going to get some kind of really big sweetheart deal, with your employer or your boss, or raises and promotions. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till Jupiter next year moves into your 11th house. Then all the good stuff you've been doing now is going to increase extremely well. This was like raise promotion energy in the next 6 months, but like you're on a trajectory for some really great career success. Oh my God, you won't believe what I just drew for you. Like you cannot make this poop up. The Midas touch, right? The Midas touch. You got the Midas touch. You turn things to gold. It's the 11th card, which is like the Justice card in the tarot. I know Midas didn't like turning everybody to gold, but so there's a downside. But it is about success, the Midas touch. You are in a career success trajectory. If you're a Libra, you go, oh, my career sucks, my life sucks. Well, reframe, right? This is general bell curve astrology, but you could probably turn it around, honestly. So I'm not going to read the whole story. I'm going to tell you what it says. This is like traditional zodiacal ruler of this card. The Justice card is Libra. And there we go. This card appears in your reading. Be sensitive. When this card appears in your reading, be sensitive and loving to the people around you, and turn your back on greed. Appreciate the simple and beautiful things in life by realizing that all that glitters is not gold. The gentle touch of a loved one can be more important than making money or struggling to earn a promotion. Balance out your life. Trust your intuitive judgment over cold logic. Weigh your decisions carefully to avoid harming yourself and the people you love. Well, I'm going to say one thing about that. You do have Mars in your chart right now, in your house, in the sky through to September 22nd. For some of you, that can make you very aggressive or gnarly to your significant love relationship partner. You may be trying to boss them around, control them, or you might even try to cut away from them. And so be careful. That's not even about the eclipse. It's just what's going on at this time. And then we're going into the next sign. And the next sign is Scorpio. What an eclipse. Can't compare it, if you can try, to, fall of 87 to spring of 89, or fall of 2006 to spring of 2008. That's when this eclipse cycle was germinating a lot of energy, or moving through your sky in the very same place. However, we didn't have beautiful Lord Jupiter, the greater benefic, and a beautiful mutual receptive flow, hallelujah, from the 9th house of God to the 5th house of children, of romantic love, of creative artistic expression, of your natural talents and gifts, of your entrepreneurial business instinct and actualizations. And this energy could bring a single Scorpio into a beautiful new love relationship, as the North Node of Fate amplifies a plus sign in the house of romance. And Jupiter could indicate that would be a partner that you meet who shares your spiritual philosophy, that connects to foreign lands and foreign places, or travel. This is going to bless you nonetheless, even if you have a partner, with an increase of your romantic life. You're going to have more fun. And with Saturn here, maybe a bit more wisdom and seriousness about sex, love, and romance. If you're single, you could get involved with somebody quite a bit older or younger than you here as well. I would also say that North Node here with the moon is a fertility signature for those of you who are thinking of having a child. And it could bring an unexpected pregnancy thanks to Uranus square from the 8th house. And so just be cautious if baby making isn't your cup of tea at this time. If you are in a relationship that you want to have children, though, this is very positive. And if your children are about to have children with Jupiter in the house of grandchildren, this is indicating success there as well. I mean, Saturn has been making you work hard since 2023 on creative artistic projects. You've been working really hard on things that have to do with your natural talents and gifts. Your hobbies might have been something you took really seriously since 2023, because usually our hobbies are just what we really love to do, brings us joy and enthusiasm, but we're good at it or we wouldn't keep doing it. And so there's a sense of, prosperity and worldly success through your creative, artistic, natural talents, hobbies, and abilities. Or if you want to start an entrepreneurial business, that can happen. But the eclipse can show you or reveal to you what that direction should be. Jupiter blesses it from a very lucky Lakshmi house, and Mercury sits across the way witnessing it from the house of windfalls and pennies from heaven. A side story that's here and can't be ignored is that you do have some inheritance signatures going on here as well. So for some of you on other planets, you could be coming into money in the next 6 months after this eclipse. And it might give you the freedom to pursue your hobbies, artistic talents, and natural abilities and work less hard and get rid of the chironic wound of not really belonging to the line of work you might have been doing or are doing. And finally, I do not know what this is for you, but you might be making decisions about contractual agreements and vows and commitments, either in the area of your life that represents relationship and marriage, or agreements and contracts connected to your children. This eclipse can also be about the existing children in your life and their experience of really great luck and success in terms of higher education. And so if you have kids getting ready to go to school, this kind of eclipse, eclipsing the child from the home, but revealing an extension of worldly success in the house of universities, could be for some Scorpios a story. Foreign lands belong to the 9th house. Prosperity and success in book publishing, foreign lands, foreign shores are one thing that some Scorpios might achieve, or international success and expansion in anything connected to your art, creativity, and your natural hobby abilities or entrepreneurial businesses. You're not the first card to get the Wheel of Fortune, which is the 10th card of the Arcana. They call this one Alice in Wonderland. I already read it for another sign, and I'm not going to read it again because it's going to be the same message. In essence, the Wheel of I'll read it. It's a very positive card. They make it sound better than I do, so I'll read it. All righty. Wheel of Fortune. La, la, la. Wheel of Fortune. Here we go. Almost there. Alice in Wonderland. So here's your keywords. Ready? When this card appears in your reading, you see life from a higher perspective, explore the realm of dreams and keep a notebook. Good fortune may be around the corner. Anticipate a turning of the Wheel of Fortune in your favor. Be the eternal optimist. Know that the power of prosperity, Scorpio, the power of prosperity consciousness is your ace in the hole. Take advantage of golden opportunities coming your way. Good luck is on your side. Let it ride. The 9th house is a Lakshmi house for wealth, luck, and prosperity. And Jupiter, Santa Claus, is there. And he's trying to please that moon. He's trying to give her a favor from the house of good fortune. I would have said that. You have one of the win lottery money. You have one of the win the lottery money storylines. I should have said that. Okay, so especially with Mercury in the house of pennies from heaven and windfalls. So, okay. So the other thing is play your limit, know your limit, play within it, but this could definitely bring you some financial winnings of monies, and in addition to maybe a family legacy inheritance wealth that feels like you won the lottery. Okay. Oh my God. Moving on to the next sign. All right. So after Scorpio, we have Sagittarius. We're coming down the pipeline of 1, 2, 3 more signs. So Sag, you're ruled by Jupiter. This is the first in a lifetime time that Jupiter has been flowing to these eclipses. So it makes it so much better, so much better Sagittarius, so much more expansive Sagittarius than 1987 fall to spring of 89 or fall of 2006 to 2008 spring. It's a whole different kettle of fish. Haha, Pisces fish, to have this happening for you. Now, with this energy of Jupiter in the chunky money house, and definitely with Lakshmi house Venus baking into a lucky wealth and prosperity house, and also at the very same time, seeing that the moon is in, sorry, I'm moving you back a day, we're losing the sky, that the moon is here at 15 degrees in the North Node placement. I have a few thoughts for you. A very beautiful and lucky opportunity to purchase, sell a property, getting an inheritance from a father figure. No, getting an inheritance from a mother figure who's elder, great grandma, somebody, or some elder female in the family, getting some kind of super positive financial break connected to your career that could also open up a glorious new opportunity for a new home. Looks like a change of job or career could occur here as well. And I don't know that you're going to be actually having to move or not. That's not for sure, Sagittarius, because you may choose to move rather than have to move. It's like you have chunks of money that could come to you from ways that you don't earn. That's the bottom line. Yet Jupiter is also flowing to the sun, which is in your 10th house, which is a career story. So it's a very strong possibility of both being true. You may be able to get some, leaving one career path for something opening up better and more exciting and more prosperous, like a sign-on bonus or a severance package. And then at the same time, something wants to change in the 4th house of where you live. Now, another thing I need to mention here is that you may be separating assets with a spouse. This is possible just for some of you. Jupiter is in the house of shared resources with my spouse. Mercury, the spouse, is in the 10th house of reputation with the loss of the South Node. It indicates potentially that you're going to announce to the world like a relationship's closing up. But at the same time, there's such a beautiful trine from Jupiter to the goddess of marriage vows, Juno. You couldn't probably do it quietly. You're going to be very subtle about it. It looks like if anyone's going to separate from a marriage partner in it from a Sag perspective, you're kind of doing it in a way that you're lining your ducks in a row. And for the most part, this is looking like a mutually assured positive experience. Venus is delighted to help with all legal matters connected to shared resources in a positive way as well. There may be changes in the life of your mother that are destined and fated. The moon in the 4th house is in her natural home. And with the North Node, if you're going to change your home, some of you could choose a foreign shore, distant land, foreign culture, especially where Venus is sitting and Juno. So you may make some choices to find a home in another country, or your partner may be moving to another country. Anytime the full moon eclipse total is in the 4th house, things about your childhood, secrets from your family of origin could be revealed, but also you may have an expansive, worldly, destined change of home. And by nature, Rahu means destined, but also the word outsider or foreign. And so some of you might go somewhere far away. Saturn says you've been working on dealing with 4th house matters for a while, like melancholy or depression or solitude or loneliness in the home, maybe even feeling hardships in the home or with family members in the home. Well, that's about to change, right? Because Saturn's going to move into your 5th house and then it can bother other people. But this has been Saturn's been here since 2025, even an elder parent or whatever in the home. And now that's going to change and things are changing for the better. And there's a lot more financial security here as well. For just very few of you, some of you might start to study or learn occult mysteries, tarot, numerology, astrology, start a path of education and learning here. Otherwise, I do think there's some family money that could come your way, some changes of home, and a letting go of, perhaps for some of you, a path of work or career. But should you do so, something far more abundant is coming your way. Ultimately, by next year, next midsummer, add a year, some of you might be really prospering quite a lot. But you may also be looking at going into educational settings, studying, teaching, and learning. We'll get to that next year's story. So let's pull a card for this for you. And one more thing about the fourth house story. The moon expanding fourth house could be more children in the home. So you could have babies. Your children could have babies. Jupiter would suggest the reincarnation of people that you've known in the past. So there's a feeling that maybe you're going to get some people from your past coming to you. You're the second person to get the Seeker of Wands card, which is like the Knight of Wands. And those are moving energies. The knights are on the road going somewhere. So again, maybe some of you will change your home, expand your home, move your home. It helps if I'm looking for the right book. I'm looking at the Sabian symbols when I want to look at the wands. 2 of you have gotten this card. 2 of you have gotten the Wheel of Fortune. The majority of cards we're drawing today are wands. And yes, they're shuffled. All right. The Seeker of Wands. Give me a minute. This is Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Follow your destiny and proceed on your life quest. Develop your confidence and your spiritual strength. You, Sagittarius, may be exploring and perceiving unusual realities at this time. Your dreams may be colorful, profound, fun, or adventurous. Keep a notebook of your nocturnal experiences. This is a time maybe truly for an actual journey as well. Well, I could see that because Venus is locked into the 9th house of foreign travel. So a journey could be good for you, or a pilgrimage. Open to the entire range of possible destinations. Take action to make your visions come true. Eliminate the fear of getting lost and making mistakes. Your helpers and guides will direct you home when your magical adventure is about to end. Yeah, direct you home. You look like you could be traveling abroad, moving abroad, living abroad, that kind of thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thank you, Sagittarius. Good luck with that blessed eclipse. And then we have, oh, I'm moving by day. That's not what I want to do, day by day. I want to move by hour. And we have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So Capricorns, the energy here for you is very auspicious, and it's even more auspicious than for most signs. And you're going to say, why? Because you and Aquarius are ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is sitting here with the eclipse, and he's going to be witnessing it from the same sign and within enough distance, he's definitely seeing the eclipse. All right. So Saturn says, okay, I got your back. What long game, long range strategic decisions that are wise are going on or changes in your 3rd house? North node expands plus energy. And this could be about expanding your neighborhood, changing your neighborhood to a destined new neighborhood, new home in a new neighborhood. I got to get out of the sirens, but that's Aquarius. Things might change to do with travel plans or marketing, selling, writing, communicating, and business endeavors, expanding, growing, and changing. Now, the other element about this is that you may also have some very destined stories apply to cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, local neighborhood people, your local neighborhood environment, and also a sibling. So even one younger than you in particular. And so this energy is very, very much about change, destined, fated, blessed change in the 3rd house. You had some fated, destined, blessed change in the 3rd house in 87 to 89 and in 2006 to 2008. So some of you could have moved your home to another neighborhood, right? Another city in your country even. You may also have great expansion in connection to writing, traveling, communicating, marketing, selling, right? And growth, worldly success, expansion in the communications house. Would have been great if you had a field of endeavor that was about selling, marketing, or communicating, especially even the media house. Now, Capricorn, the other element of this is that you're going to notice that you have Jupiter's blessings this time around. And it's coming through the house of contractual agreements, business partnerships, and long-term love. Single Capricorns could definitely meet a very bounteous, magnificent new love partner, and committed love stories could definitely come off of that, connected to travel or changes of neighborhood or destined shifts in your online world. Social media now belongs to the 3rd house. Certainly social media online success with the audience and marketplace for any Capricorn pursuing that kind of outcome in this 6 months that follows this eclipse. And Mercury witnessing it from across the way. Well, he's all about what kind of information, news, communications may be coming from publishing, book publishing, foreign people, foreign lands, visas, passports, foreign travel. academic and university and college settings, or legal and court matters, right? A lot going on here that can connect over here. This is like a beautiful wedge to this eclipse. I think Jupiter here is bringing luck to your partner. If you already have someone that you're significantly connected with, like a long-term love relationship, your partner's experiencing some blessings here as well. They could include their ability to prosper and grow through writing, communicating, social media, marketing and selling, and teaching and learning. This could also offer you the opportunity to become available to a new course of study that's destined and fated and has long and enduring, lasting positive results. So some of you may be educating yourself, but you could also be the educator, and you may be teaching and having a great deal of success in that matter as well. You're going to attract more fortunate luck through people that you encounter, and it's going to be very good for business alliances and partnerships that bring greater career prosperity to you in the 6 months that follows this eclipse. Now, I'm going to be drawing a card for you. And the last thing I want to say is this: Saturn is anaretic and he's the Lord of your sign. He's completing something. What was it like to have Saturn here since 2023 in your third house? Okay. Did you feel alone? Did you feel like you didn't belong to the community you lived with? Did you feel like some hardship or loneliness or solitude in the neighborhood setting? I mean, you have to go back, watch my Saturn video about this. Saturn dipped back to Pisces till February, but having Lord Saturn with the eclipse is positive for you. It indicates something very good is trying to happen here, for he's the Lord of your sign and he will do what it takes to do something good for you. I drew the Guardian of Wands. I don't know why people are getting so many wands, but Jupiter seems to like it. So wands are the highest spiritual card possible. The wands, the spiritual essence. So the Guardian of Wands, let's take a look at that card. All right. This is Archangel Raphael. I'm not going to read the whole thing. When Raphael appears in your cards, is that right? Yeah. This is like the king card, I think. It's like the king of wands. That's very entrepreneurial. When Raphael appears in your card, you are being blessed by the presence of divine healing. Recognize the sensitive power in your hands that can rekindle strength in friends and family members. Send prayers and uplifting thoughts into the minds and hearts of human beings around the world. Visualize a stream of golden love emanating from the sun, entering your heart chakra and radiating out to your companions on the path of life. Travel with confidence. Well, friends, local friends, cousins, aunts, uncles, siblings are your third house. Oh, kind of funny. I'll make it work here. Travel with confidence, make new friends, cultivate your faith, and express your compassion for all living things. Okay? Whoa. And finally, at last, Aquarius. We started with Pisces, so that's why we're ending with Aquarius. If you're in the live premiere, you'll have to go back and rewatch it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, everyone, and hit my notification bell. And I am going to talk all about the Aquarians. I am one of you. So, hey, fellow Aquarius peoples. Whew. Just like I talked about with Capricorn, we're having support from Lord Saturn, the Lord of our sign. We're going to talk about how that looks for you. This is about your money, your resources, your possessions, your financial earnings, your voice. This brings prosperity, wealth, and expansion and growth. And your voice could bring you money, you know, your voice is your vocation and your calling as well. This is also about an expansion in worldly ways of how much you have in your wallet. And Saturn says any of the expansion we do here is a long game, but it's definitely coming from the work you do. It's coming from Jupiter in the work house. And with Juno, the goddess of contractual vows and agreements, business partnerships and commitments in the 10th house, we see a lot of devotion and dedication. And we see a beautiful Arthur triangle. It looks like you're going to level up to a level of financial prosperity and success through work, for vocation, work, career, voice, calling that you haven't seen happen before, because this is first in a lifetime Jupiter blessings. This is also really good for your health and dietary changes that are fated and destined, that you're going to improve your health through your shifts of what you put through your mouth. All right. And your nose even. And Saturn helps you stick with it, have resilience, persistence, and dedication to a new dietary path. And Saturn rules the house of self-undoing. And so if you have any addictions, this eclipse will eclipse those from your life. Now, this is very different than 1987 to 89 or 2006 to 2008 because of Jupiter. So, well, you made some prosperous expansions on your money story back then, and I did. This is very qualitatively far more successful. There may be changes to your office environment that are expanding. You might have more employees if you're an employer. You might get more luck and love from the boss or the employment structures if you're employed. So therefore raises promotions and advancements for sure. You know, see, the moon wants to please Jupiter and Jupiter wants to please the moon. So they're really working in quite a collaboration to succeed here for you. With Mercury across the way, though, you might be thinking of something to do with the way you structure your long-range non-earned income. Is that like tax shelters, tax structures, investment portfolios? There's something about Mercury. He's in great dignity with the sun, opening up the possibility for you to really discover new ways to prosper through investment monies, shared resources with your spouse, monies from royalty income, payments through ad revenues, etc. Those monies that you make that are not paychecks per se are also invited to prosper in this chart, but you're changing the way you do things because of the South Node, and we'll find out more about that on the September eclipse. I would say to you finally, if you are in any kind of profession in which you teach or speak, educate or speak, your success quotient also is increased. And Saturn has been working with your money since 2023 to help you save more, conserve more, be careful with it, structure it, be strategic, and long strategy gains with your money. And I certainly can relate because I incorporated. So how have you been noticing Saturn supporting you there? Now he's working with a fated eclipse of increase in your finances. But Saturn's cautious, Saturn's wise, and Saturn is about, will it go the distance? So all these expansions are very measured, but successful. Now, I'm going to definitely say it's great for your health, though, for Lord Jupiter blessing your health through dietary changes, especially health connected to feet and or connected to your, well, not feet, let's give that, your stomach. Health for your stomach is what you eat and ingest into your stomach. So we're changing some of that. So your microbiome might be a big feature, increasing your health of your microbiome. Here we go. Oh, the 7 of crystals. Ooh, that's a money card. That's like the Pentacles. So of course we see your money expanding. Let's take a look at the 7. That's like the 7 of Pentacles, right? The 7 of crystals. And here we have a story for you, right? So it's about a period of contemplation in which you can reach into the depths of your personal knowledge to weave truth and wisdom into the light. And we're going to now talk about a time of waiting or rest is offered to you. Let those candlelights reflect the brilliance of your inner journey. Find your own attunement and trust that all is well. Patience is a cardinal virtue. This may be a time to pause or a phase when you are rebuilding strength for your next adventure or awareness in life. Be still and let the inner truth be revealed. Well, Jupiter brings you inner truth. Saturn brings you sage-like knowledge and wisdom. But, it's interesting because the 7 of Pentacles can be like, is a juice worth the squeeze, right? And Saturn won't let you do a lot of work for nothing, right? He'll work you hard, but you'll get something for it. So there's a lot of assessment about how you create that prosperity in the next 6 months, but it looks like it's measured and it's wise and it's lucky, but you may take a little time to reflect and introspect as well. The 7 can literally be looking at that pile, like raking the leaves and looking at the pile of pentacles, the money pile, and asking yourself the deeper questions, right? Don't chase the paper, maybe. Now, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I usually have an outro, but today I have my family waiting in the bedroom for me, so we're not doing an outro today. I hope you enjoyed this content. Come join me in Sky Reader. I'd love to see you there. And everyone have a wonderful eclipse season. Take very good care. Ciao, ciao.